Hello there, I'm Laura and I'm the director of the independent Arthurian feature film Mordred. Now, I've been prompted to make this video because of several issues. One is the core reason, which is finding funds for an independent film. And the second is that in looking around for advice and even talking to professional fundraisers who've been doing their best to help us, there's been no clear information really on fundraising for this type of thing. So I thought I'd make a little video to talk about what we've been doing and what we are continuing to do to make this film a reality on the financial side. So, of course, the first thing that everyone tells you when you're fundraising for a film is to crowdfund. Now, there are lots of different platforms, but I think the most common ones are Indiegogo and Kickstarter. Now, looking at the two for us, there was one really important difference. With Kickstarter, you have to reach the target that you've set for your film budget, or you don't get the money. With Indiegogo, you can either have the same model as Kickstarter, or you can have a flexible funding model which allows you to keep whatever you've raised towards the film. Now, because we are fundraising in many other ways as well for our film, we decided to go with the flexible fundraising model. So that's really what sold Indiegogo for us. Now, with fundraising via crowdfunds, people often assume that putting a crowdfund up means making a really nice pitch with some good videos, concept images, and putting it online, and then loads of people on the internet will give you money. And people often think it's a way of getting free money for a project. That's not really the case. What you have to do is network and advertise and get people excited about the project before you begin. So where we found in our analytics the most contributions to our crowdfund have come from so far is from myself and other people in the cast and crew sharing the project online. So they're talking about it to their friends and family and online contacts, and it's those people who are contributing. It's much less common to get somebody that you haven't met before, that you don't already know, to contribute to the project. And I think the reasons for that is if they know somebody involved, they're friends with that person, they want to see them succeed. And also, they're more likely to know that the project is serious and it's not just some fly-by-night project with somebody with a mobile phone wanting to make a film. So it's very important when you're crowdfunding to get your cast and crew on side and get them excited about it, and in some cases show them how to share it, explain about how to share it and how to market it if they're not already aware, so that then they share it and talk about it. The other important thing is not to think once you start getting contributions, please don't start to think, oh, I don't need to share it anymore, it's going to take on a momentum. It does a little bit because people see other people contributing, so they think, well, it's a good idea to do the same. But also, you need to keep sharing it. Even on your newsfeed with your friends, not everyone reads every social media post. So if they haven't seen it before, they might see it in 2 or 3 shares time. So keep pushing the word out there. And also, obviously, you make new friends, new contacts as time goes on, and then they see it, and with luck, you never know, they might put a little bit into it. Another misconception, and this is for people donating via a crowdfund, is to understand that even if it's a tiny amount, even if it's £1 or something really small, that still makes a difference, because in large enough numbers, if you had 1,000 people, for example, if you were really lucky, contributing £1 each, that's £1,000 towards the film. That's a big piece of the budget. And also, make it clear that independent film isn't always about an enormous budget. It's also about the creativity of how you use the money and the facilities and the things in kind that you get as well. So please don't think that just to make a feature film you need to have millions of pounds, because while it would be nice, you don't. So that's a little bit about the crowdfunding. We've learned via trial and error. Our first crowdfund really didn't work well because we didn't really know what we were doing with regard to marketing the crowdfund. The second time we've learned a lot, and although I don't know if we'll reach our target, it's certainly going an awful lot better because we've learned as we go along. So the other things that we're doing, we found it very important not to focus just on one way of fundraising, because doing it different ways creates more publicity for the project, which is always good. Publicity is very good too. And it also brings in money from different people, maybe those who wouldn't feel comfortable contributing via crowdfunds, because it's still quite a new thing. And certainly in a more rural area, quite a lot of people will still look at a computer and think, whoa, the computer's big and scary. Crowdfunding? What on earth's that? So we've looked at other ways of funding. We've looked very quickly at what our cast and crew have as other talents, and we've put together ways of crowdfunding from that. We've looked at other ways of funding, looking at the different skills and abilities that our cast and crew have. So, for example, several of us girls in the group are trained burlesque dancers. So, we put on a burlesque show, and that raised money towards the project. We've got quite a few people who are into science fiction and fantasy and comic books and that type of thing. So, contacting them and then talking to local groups. I have to give a big thank you at this point to a local Star Wars group, the Torbay Troopers, as well as other cosplayers from down the coast in Plymouth, coming together to create a small science fiction and fantasy convention. A hotel was very kind and donated us space to do that in, and again we raised a reasonable amount of money and quite a lot of publicity for the film amongst people who enjoy fantasy type films. So that was also very good. Then a couple of us did a sponsored swim. I was really surprised by the sponsored swim. I was expecting that it wouldn't really catch on. It seemed something sort of old and hackneyed that everyone and their mother's done. And yet that was actually one of our most successful fundraising attempts. We raised well over, it would have been about £180 in the end for the project, just from 10 lengths of a pool. And that worked really well, and we decided that, okay, not everyone obviously can come and watch, so we filmed it. As it was, we didn't have a camera person on the day to film it, so we took turns. I'd swim the 10 lengths while the other person filmed, and then I sat out and she swam the lengths. So it worked. We did it. So that was really good. And, what else have we done? We've put things for sale on eBay, so we've had a good clear out on that. We're also, with smaller items, doing car boot sales, yard sales as well. And so we're exploring all different ways of fundraising for this, and for a local festival that's coming up in a couple of weeks, we're running a talent show, entry by donation. So you've got to look at so many different things, and in the end I also decided, because I have a master's degree in teaching drama, I decided to contact local museums and schools and see if they wanted, for a small fee, a talk about adapting local history and mythology for stage and film. I've had quite a few take-ups on that, and although it's not bringing in a huge amount of money, because museums don't have a lot of money, schools don't have a lot of money, it's brought in a little bit. Again, it all helps, and that particularly has helped with the publicity. So people have come up to me and said, oh, we've vaguely heard of your group doing things before, but we never understood what it was really that you did. We didn't really pay attention. And now I've even got group visits coming for the stage show version of this project, which we're doing in the autumn. So long term, that's been a fantastic network.